It's about time for me to say this, but we are back to our regularly scheduled Kamen Rider Gotchard. Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about episode 36 of Kamen Rider Gotchard. So we start with the gang at Hotarou's restaurant, along with Kyoka and Lachesis, as they pretty much want to find a way to help Kyoka out in an experiment. But this one making Lachesis human, as she wants to make her laugh as an experiment for her to become more human, because nothing more to say more human than being able to laugh. But Lachesis doesn't think it will actually work, and she seems to be annoyed by the whole action. And Rengis starts with some funny faces with it just looking pretty weird. Would lead to Lachesis just covering her up with her veil. Pretty much trying her best not to actually have any feelings at all. And it pretty much becomes the whole smiley friend episode. And they all try their best. And after Renge failed, Rina and Sabe decided to do some comedy act. That also doesn't seem to work at all, and you see the Lachesis getting more annoyed. And it's a pretty funny little scene of Kyoka opening up the veil to see Lachesis' reaction, and he's just getting annoyed by it, and he just put the veil back. I think that was actually pretty nice scene. Also pretty nice to see Sabi also not using Isaac at all, using his real voice with Rine. So I think that was actually pretty cool to see. And they all sit down and it's time for Hotarou's turn. But he doesn't know what to do. A Topper 1 jumps on him and tries to tickle him, which makes him laugh as well as everybody else. And Lachesis just gets out saying that what they call a pathetic display to make humor, and actually decides to laugh. Well, not really laugh, more like it seems to be a sarcastic laugh, because he does the little Ojo-sama little laugh that we see in anime. And she just laughed her way out, doing the little Ojo-sama laugh. And Kyoka is just happy she kind of laughed, but not really. It's more like a sneer here, and not really out of humor or comedy, more out of laugh out of like an insult. But as the smiley friends say, it's a successful mission. They did make her laugh, so technically it did work. After that little brief scene that hopefully will come back later, we then get to the main story, which is the Alchemist little headquarter base with the leaders. And Minato Spanner explained what about 100 being dealt with, and also about Gigist making his move. And he pretty much showed a little flashback of how 100 was defeated, and how Gigist used Saigetsu to make the 4 little Kemi to make him the Arc 1 Malgam. Saying, and Minato explained that this power belonged to the king, but he hasn't made a move yet, which is pretty suspicious. And Minato said they need to have a plan, but the head of the leader of the Alchemist said they don't seem any concerned about Gigist, and say that they're just gonna observe and not do anything. And it's pretty suspicious that they're not doing anything, but I think it's more not really evil, more like they're like conformists or something like that. It'd be pretty interesting to have an organization that's not technically evil. Instead, the organization is just lazy, or just too up their own little high horse and not do anything. It would be an interesting little change of pace. And Spanner is angry that these guys are not doing anything. And they're pretty much just twiddling their thumbs, and that Giga might use the opportunity to get powerful. And Giga just agrees with Spanner and just walks in, he just walks into the room like it's nothing. Pretty much acting like he owns the place. Giga say that he understands people correctly. Speaking of, after that we have the intro with Legend is now gone for the intro, and the Nichigon egg little card actually on with Hotaru to transform to Gotchard. That's pretty cool to see. We're having the intro update. But that's all we have to say, and we then come to the gang once again in the restaurant. The comedy is over, and they're just trying to fix up the little restaurant. Pretty much saying that comedy is hard. It is. And it's pretty little nice to see that Sabi say funny faces and not humorous at all, with Reagan just getting angry, just going up to his face. It's time to get some lore. And Rina talks about a story of her dad telling her a little fairy tale about a golden flower, with the help of a story called the Daybreak Alchemist. Which, it's just a little retcon probably to the story in order to make sure that they can bring back Gotchard Daybreak to the story. Maybe that's a way to make the story of Daybreak Alchemist, because the Daybreak Alchemist said that he saved the world from a demon that kind of looked like Giga with the 3 little eyes that we saw from the little opening to the little dark realm in the Ouroboros realm, and that a grasshopper was by his side. It's pretty cool to see the little image. As Sabi said that he read the fairy tale as well and actually give the whole version of the story. I read that there's a golden hill that chosen alchemists could travel to, and that a golden flower will bloom, with Hopper 1 also being interested because there's a grasshopper there as well as the story. So I wonder if Hopper 1 is also the same one from the fairy tale. As the flower said that it can make the ultimate spice that can make anybody smile from eating it and be happy. And Hotaru wants it to make people smile with his food, as he gets an idea for a recipe. And he goes shopping with Hopper 1. as they leave. Which is pretty nice to see Hopper 1 get more involvement, because he seems like he's gonna be the main character. Now that Steam Liner got a little character thing to make Iron and Platinum, so it's time for Hopper 1 to get a little bit more character development as well for the new final form. As the rest of the gang looks at the picture with a little bit intensely at the image of the Daybreak Alchemist with a grasshopper fighting against the demon. I mean, this goes back to the alchemist based little thing, as Giga introduces himself as, Gigist. Even confirming my little theory that, yeah, he is the demon from the fairy tale that they just referenced, that even the leader standing up, like he's standing up now, actually doesn't believe. He's just a fairy tale. As one of the guards actually makes the sword to stab the Gigant, and he just doesn't do anything. He just used some weird power to make him stop in the track. And interestingly, he's a weird little villain, as Gigant actually praises the value to fight an unknown foe, and even if he's outmatched, they're still gonna fight him back. And actually understands this feeling, decides to grant his wish. And then he grants his wish by consuming like red flame. And then disappears, shocking everybody. Isaiah only did was grant him his wish of wanting power. And he gave him a little taste of it, power beyond human understanding. So yeah, this guy is definitely dangerous. And it's pretty interesting, Giga's little writing. Pretty differently. Hopefully that's similar to like somebody like Gif from Revive, just better. Because Gif from Revive didn't really do much. It just had some weird personality trait. As Spanner gets serious, at knowing they say that it's a bad joke instead of just saying that what a joke or something like that. Yeah, he got really serious and he transforms to fight Gigist. And it's also pretty cool that Gigist is actually not standing behind. He actually does fight. He gets his hands dirty, which I like seeing. And he shows his power with his teleportation, and he takes them to a new location that they fight. But then Spanner can't really land a hit on him at all. As Giga just dodges and even grabs his sword, and say that he understands everything about Spanner. And that's why he can't hit him at all. As he does a pretty cool fight with Giga's like little sword, and like Giga's still holding the sword as Spanner kicks and punches him with no effect. And then Spanner grabs the sword and teleports him far away. I Giga say that he understands and sees his sadness. I say that he's strong, as he could grant him his wish, but Spanner declared that he doesn't want it. As Spanner decided to make a finisher with the big Oni, which is pretty cool to see the Oni's like, little club actually attack him. But it doesn't work at all, as he just grabs it and destroys it and uses the opportunity to make a seismic wave, explosion into Spanner. And then really cool that he actually stopped the explosion, pulls it into a ball, like imploding Spanner and teleporting him away to where Minato is there. I forgot to mention Minato arrived at the battle and just lands him there and knocks him out of a transformation. Pretty much, yeah, he is pretty much enduring the wrath of God at this point. Like I said, really cool to see the little explosion just imploding in himself and not making him break out. Yeah, Spanner is out of transformation, but then Spanner starts to have the black flame that we had earlier in the show where he became Kamen Rider, the Valvarod Malgam, the little mock wheel. Malgam, earlier in the show. So it seemed to be a interesting thing, because Giga seemed to be interested in what's happening and why is he turning with black flame. It seemed to be a setup for his final form, I'm gonna get, because if I remember correctly, they didn't actually destroy the Malgam. If I remember correctly, from when he became Kamen Rider Valvarod, he just broke free from the Valvarod Malgam thing, and then the Mad Wheel became Mach. So I'm gonna get that they didn't really technically destroy his little Malgam thing, so he still has it inside of him. So I'm gonna get this all set up for final form. And Minato uses the chat to escape. And Giga is impressed that Spanner was hit by his flame, which I'm wondering what that is about. Hopefully we get more explanation about this. And he said the alchemists have become cowards in 120 years, but all the writers show promise. As Kloto arrives, Giga says that at Hotarou's neck. And interestingly, Kloto actually asked if he's going to kill Hotarou, but we don't hear what they talk about or say, but it seems like they both agree on something. Speaking of Hotarou, we see him looking for the ingredient and meets with Time Lord and actually captures him. And a really cool little directing choice of having Time Lord being cast while the little scene in the back, another shot of the prize wheel, somebody playing of it, and it's showing somebody seems to be like winning, or at least have like one of those lucky little pebbles. Really cool to see the really good directing in this scene. And it continues, Hotarou said that it's been a while, but Time Lord doesn't seem to remember, so it seems like he's not meeting it for the first time compared to Daybreak Gotchard. And it's pretty cool that then the pretty good directing in the same scene that the world starts to spin alongside the little prize wheel as it spins around, as Hotarou makes it to the top of a building and wondering how he got here, and then meets with Gigist. And then Gigist continues to be pretty much the best villain so far in Reiwa right now, because he's just all about action and actually just gets his hand dirty. And he calls Hotarou a thief, telling him to return his power, and then gets right in front of Hotarou and just gut punches him. and pretty much making him drop Time Lord. And Hopper tried to help out, but he just like swatted away like the bug he is. And interestingly, Time Lord is, when he falls down, he actually disappears. As Giga tried to probably gonna get inside to get the Nichigon egg. As he explained 120 years ago, a part of him was spared and not destroyed, and that he's coming back to take back what he rightfully hid. And they tried to take back the Nichigon egg. He actually grabs it. And it's actually a pretty cool little effect with the whole little world changing upside and down, left and right, like the whole parallel, like little teleportation thing. It's a really cool scene, a really cool shot. But they seem to fail again. They seem to reject him, and he blows those Gigas away. Hey, so yeah, it's pretty much setting up that Nichigon egg probably had a mind of its own now. And Hotarou falls down in the parking lot, dropping all his cars. And Giga actually pretty much annoyed that Nichigon rejects his power and decided to take Skebows and Anthropor with him. You get a little bit more lore saying that he created the Kemi, and we actually see that he actually created the original two with the Gaiar and Dragonalos. But it's actually pretty much interestingly because we heard from all the way back in like episode like 25, 26, something like that Dragonalos did confirm that he and Gaiar were the first Kemi and that every other Kemi were copied from them alongside the other level 10. And Giga confirmed that it is true as the alchemists copied all the other Kemi and tried to copy him. I hope they say that was skewed to hurt them in this way. Giga said that they were made to hurt people. And he even said Hopper 1 was made to cause famine by eating all the rice and grains from the area. But come on, look at this cute little thing, this cute little Hopper 1. Do you really think it'll be dangerous enough to actually cause famine? It's so adorable. But exactly the reason why it would cause famine. Of course, it's so adorable, it would actually trick you into actually making sure it'll eat everything. He is a monster. Anyway, all joking aside, I love Hopper 1 still. He seems like she's about to cry because she's actually pretty terrified of Hotarou right now. Hotarou continued to praise them, saying that Giga is wrong. Giga seemed to take pity on his children because he said that their changed way had caused them to feel this harm. It's like they Skebows, turning him to a red Malgam with his own little, which is really cool, like a red and black Malgam. I'm gonna say that he'll free him from his pain. And yeah, it's just a normal Malgam with red and black, but it's still really cool to see the scary design with like little team animation. It's still really cool to see like everything cool. And it's pretty interesting that he's fighting against the Skebows Malgam because this is the same Malgam he fought from like episode 2 or something like that. Like this is the second Malgam he fought. So it's pretty cool that we're going back to basic with a repeat. At the rest of the gang arrived thanks to Time Lord disappearing. So I gotta get that, yeah, Time Lord went back in time to tell the gang about what happened with Hotarou. And Rin and Hotarou transformed to fight against Skebows called Malgam. And Giga teleports them all to a park, and we have Cloto with him. As she transforms to a little ebon armor form and fights Rin as Hotarou tries to deal with Skebows, who is much stronger and faster compared to last time. And he can't really land a hit as Renge and Sabi decide to blast Skebows to back up Hotarou, but doesn't seem to work at all so much as he transforms to UFO X to try to separate Skebows from the little dangerous thing. But it doesn't work because it's confirmed by Hotarou and Giga that Skebows was created without a human host or a host of any kind. Right, so it doesn't work at all. So yeah, he can't separate him from the little hatred and malice he feels. And he just continued to fight, but then he stops. He like hesitates, saying he doesn't want to keep fighting against Skebows. The Skebows will take the time to wail on him a little bit, and they tried to go after Renge and Sabi, and actually managed to blast their little capture card that they can't do anything about it. So he's about to probably kill them. As Hotarou transformed to Platinum, using the meteor little Kemi from last episode that he got from Saigetsu when he was forced to make the Arc Wall Malgam. It's a pretty cool continuity. And he uses it to rain meteor down on Skebows, finally defeating him. But interestingly, in slow motion as Skebows falls down to the floor and disappears. Cloto says that he's done it now. Like he pretty much just pimp slaps Rine before she can land a hit and leaves into being with Giga's side. Hotarou tried to capture Skebows but it doesn't work at all as he's like tried to go up to her and see what's going on, and then he finds that he transformed to stone and pretty much lost all color. Yeah, he starts to lose color in an eye and actually shuts down and now becomes fully white. It's pretty much stone-like, like he lost all color. So I guess Skebows is dead. No, Skebows, you were a good boy. Godspeed, Skebows, Godspeed. Because Hotarou actually actually cried out. And also props to the actor, like he's doing his best. Hotarou's actor doing his best to cry over pretty much a prop of a fake skateboard. Like props to the actor for keeping the best he can. I do want to know how many takes it took to try to get the best one. To not look like it looks kind of weird or ridiculous that he cried over a fake skateboard. But anyway, he's trying to get Skebows to wake up, but there's no response at all. And Gigist laughs, saying that he also understands this sadness, ending the episode. Overall, it was a pretty good episode. It seems like the stakes are finally picking back up with the whole final act of Kamen Rider Gotchard. Also pretty interesting that Gigist is actually taking initiative compared to most villains from the Reiwa era currently. And seems to get his hands dirty, unless you count like Geets with the DGP manager. Like I think he also gets there as well as Arc 1 as well. So I'm actually pretty glad to actually have another villain trying to get his hands dirty compared to the other one I can think of badly. That I feel like the connection I can compare to probably Gift, because they're both pretty much demons as well from an alternate universe. But I think this might be a better Gift considering he has a much different personality. Seeming like he understands humans and all that and actually wants to free them, especially for his children. So I want to know what this is all about. Hopefully see where this goes, because I really want to know if he could be different. Also pretty interesting, the organization probably could not be corrupt. Instead, it might be the first time that it might not be a corruption. Maybe it just actually be a stagnation problem, or like they're so up top that they don't feel the need to actually go after Gigist. And that they're just conformists and they just conform with their role and doesn't want to do anything about it. Which I'm just wondering what that's all about and wondering if this is gonna be a thing. Hopefully this keeps going. Hopefully I'm not wrong, but I'm gonna get they might actually change things. But I digress. We'll see. Also making us sad over a skateboard. So this is still the same show, the same franchise that made us cry over a bench and cry over a burger, and now they make us cry over a skateboard. Pretty good stuff, as well as Hotarou actor doing his best to actually salvage the scene that pretty much is ridiculous in this concept, but I think it works. Does a pretty good job. Also with the whole thing setting up Spanner having his final form, probably with the whole black flame thing, wondering how that's all about. So hopefully we get to see what that is. Overall, it was a really good episode. I really liked it, and now things are picking back up now that we're having Gotchard completely going straight line to the ending. Rating wise, I give it a 7.9 out of 10. What do you guys think? Do you like this episode or do you not? What do you think about Skebows finally dying? And also, do you feel sad that a sentient skateboard makes you feel this way? Leave a comment down below to talk more about Kamen Rider. Peace.